are you doing? How are you? And you can tell me on the chat, how are you doing? How was your week? How's the week going? And again, where are you tuning in from? Thank you very much for joining us on Get It Right with HRIS Solutions. This is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. My name is Grace Nzula. I'm an HR consultant with HRIS Solutions, and I'm very, very excited to be here and to see you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. And with me is Catherine Sidandi. Catherine Sidandi is our sign language interpreter. She does an amazing job with sign language interpretation, and also she helps us be inclusive. She's such an amazing soul. She's a blessing to us and to the community that she serves, and we really appreciate you. And of course, we have my co-host, Mr. Richard Magoma.
Had a lovely day. That is Jane Wakanyi. You're saying your day was great. Christine Kimadi, you're saying your day was great. The day was positive, had positive vibes. That is from Pauline Mwashigadi. Milka, I had a good day. Monica, you're saying your day was awesome. We are waiting for Grace to fix something a little bit. I hope
I'm here.
Jacinta... All right, Grace, you're welcome. You're welcome to tell us who are the people who have promoted this particular conversation tonight.
I think in the interest of time, I see it's already 20 past, 17 past time. So probably what I'm just going to mention is briefly on what's coming up next. We have let me just mention, maybe just not mentioning what they do, so that in 2 minutes we can have Nile Front Cottages, Profiles International, K2 HR Services, Steadfast Quality Solutions, AAR Insurance, Hotel Sapphire, Tufaha Resorts, Panessa Training Institute, Port Sacco, Sorted Kinyumani. And then just to invite you to our Growth Grid Mentorship Program. This is the second cohort, which is taking place from 2nd of July. And some of the topics we'll be taking you through are HR audit, HR policies, among others. This entire mentorship program takes place within 8 weeks, and then you will be required to do quite a lot of practical things so that then we make sure that you actually understand. I know you can Google the other things, but how do you get it right when it comes to implementation? So that is what we will be focusing on. And the cohort 2 starts on 2nd of July. Please join us at only 24,000 bob. So if you're in Kenya, if you're in Uganda, we're charging 680,000 Uganda shillings. And if you're in Tanzania, you can get in touch with us and we'll give you the figures as well. So please join us. If you're HR looking to transition into managerial roles, this is for you. If you're in management and you're probably confused about a topic or two, join us. There's never trouble in learning and learning more. So please join us from the 2nd of July. And for registration, check out our social media pages or get in touch with us and we'll be able to share more details about this program. And then we have the Africa Transformational Leadership Conference coming up in Kenya for the first time, and it's happening on 6th to 8th of August. 6th to 8th of August, we will be here at the Sarova Pan-Africa Hotel for the 3 days, just unpacking leadership in a transformational setup, of course, and celebrating Africa. So join us for this a conference from the 6th to 8th of August. And of course, Richard, you forgot to share your flyer on the public speaking. Maybe you can quickly mention on that and then we can bring on Nelson.
Thank you very much. I will be having a public speaking course from July 5th. It will cost 21,000. You can pay in installments. We will share the place of training. Ladies and gentlemen, Allow me to introduce my good friend Nelson. I'm calling him a good friend because me and Nelson, we meet for tea and coffee to look at HR and life. Generally, he's a good friend of mine. He's the admin of the Human Resource Management Hub. Nelson is an award-winning HR professional. He's a trendsetter. Incidentally, the three of us are award-winning, although we have left that space of winning awards. I don't know if we'll come back. Nelson is a human resource information management system specialist. He is a people analytics expert, currently a human resource professional in business at Gardwell, Africa. And what he's going to do tonight is something that he has loved, and it has taken him places. And if you want to love and do and get rewarded about what Nelson is going to do tonight, he trains people in it person to person. Ladies and gentlemen, use your best emojis to welcome Nelson Oguda, the management. Welcome, Nelson. Tell us what you have for us. Let us appreciate Nelson, please, using any emoji that you have.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, can I share my screen?
Please
Grace,
do.
allow me to. Grace, allow me to. So, yeah, thank you very much, Richard. I think I'm still in for awards, so that you have to confirm that it wasn't a mistake. So, thank you for this forum. Grace can tell us whether someone who has ever come to these coveted sessions thrice. I think this is my third appearance at Tara Solutions as someone who shares insights on HR.
Birds of a feather.
Good. Yeah, Grace, allow me share my screen. Now, Simon said that my face has already changed.
Jacinta, kindly allow Nelson to share screen. Make him co-host. Jacinta.
Good. So now we're looking at HR systems, and I like these HR systems. In 2017, I posted something on HR systems, and I only got 4 likes on LinkedIn. 4 likes. There were no comments, and I was like, "You are not looking at HR tech and HR analytics." But then here we are. It takes time for us to embrace some of these things, and I understand that we don't make decisions for ourselves; we make them for the business. So it is good that it has taken shape, and we are moving fast as a profession, in that we are able to do a lot of things currently because of being enabled with the systems. So I've been HR. I am a full HR professional. That is by education. I've done my degree in HR. I have done my higher diploma and a CHRP. So on the side, once ISPAC is done with me in terms of registration, you should now start adding another CPAK on that, so that you call me CPAK Nelson. Also still in HR. I have done that analysis, certificate level, and a bit of cybersecurity in systems. So I want to talk from a point of 4 things that I know how to do well. I've practiced all these things within HR, not outside HR. So I do HR accounting in HR, the proper HR accounting. I do normal HR. I do HR systems in systems. So it is good that you are able to listen to me, and I'm also looking forward to learn from you. And our topic today is very simple. HRIS acquisition technique. It's just how do we acquire a system. This is beyond the basics, because I know the basics will be that you go out, get a system and bring it in, right? So how do we supercharge? So at a point, and whatever I'm going to discuss here today will hit two birds with one stone. Either you are acquiring a system, or you are auditing the current system that you have. So you have a system already, but is it working for you? So my insights today will be able to help you to check on those two. If you're looking for a system, this session is for you. If you're looking to improve what you currently have, this session is also for you. And additionally, to system providers who do systems, who are not HRs, this is also help to guide you on how should you look at a HR system. So I believe that we'll be able to cover those three lines just within this session that we're going to have today. And feel free to bring in questions where possible. I didn't say my hobbies, but I'm currently looking for a new hobby in swimming. I've been fearing water for a good number of times, so I'm looking to learn into that. So which is good. So after this, you can ask me now. Become a trainer very soon on swimming, because I've learned a few steps on that. So why do we need a HR system? Why do I need a HR system? Ask yourself that question. As a HR, why do you need a HR system? Because basically, if you look at it at some point, you may not even need that HR system because of how things happen in the company. But we need a HR system to help us centralize employee data. We need to have data coming from one single source of truth, right? I don't want to ask HR assistant data. Whatever they'll bring to me is different from what HR officer has in the same company. It's become a problem. When a CEO calls you as a HR manager, ask you for leave balances, it's a different figure than what the finance team is going to give. So we need a HR system for faster access and better accuracy. No duplication. We don't need duplication. Two people in payroll. How? We have employee with two titles, right? One was changed, but the system, we didn't change the system also. You also need a system just for compliance and risks. Remember, when you have a system like attendance, they help you with working hours tracking. You have a system, it helps help you with leave tracking. System now, if you look at GDPR or our data protection act that we have, to also help with that, because when you have a system, you can now collect and analyze in an ethical way, and you can actually have a trail that can be audited. So that's why you need a system. It will also help you get audited to show why you are working and how you are doing your things. Yeah. So it helps you reduce the legal risks that are there. Time and cost efficiency. Yes, you're able to do things very fast. Like I remember some few days ago when we still had leave days being filled in a paper, where you have to look for your HOD here, there, or you're in different locations. So that leave form must be sent through a courier service to the manager to sign it. They still happen in some companies up to date. But is it a good thing to do? Onboarding. Yeah. Who wants to be sitting every week with new joiners, training them the same things about culture when it can be automated? And this time, we don't mean that they don't need to sit with them, but there are parts that can be automated for onboarding. Why would we want to have someone bring you documents, hard copies, yet they can fill them in the system, and then you just confirm? So that's what I was talking about, time and efficiency, because we can do this work together with other people. Analytics and decision making. I am telling you, without a system, you never do analysis. If you're doing analysis, you only do the simple analysis that people use everywhere, called descriptive analytics. But if you want to do real analytics for decision making, then you need a system. Today we were in a very good event. Grace was there on HR systems and how it brings about productivity and sustainability in a company. And I was saying that I told a friend of mine within that space that there's a company that I used to work for, and I used to attend some management meetings back then. And when I went in, I would say I don't have a point when it was time for HR to speak. If I would go back to that company today, then I'll have a lot of things to discuss, because there is data analytics allowing us to look at our employees in terms of capital and how they affect the business. We cannot look at data and say that I can see attendance list here. Everybody came to work yesterday. But our revenue that has been said by the finance team shows that we didn't make money. So did we have people sitting around without working? Can we look into our scheduling, right? We had our customer, when a marketing team said that yesterday our NPS or our rating on Google was at 3, then you are asking ourselves, what happened yesterday? There was delays in service, right? Or there was this and that. So we're asking ourselves, what happened? Why was that possible? Have we done a root cause analysis? Because we have a system that can give us this data. So HR, how are we using our data that we have to make decisions? Then we also need to employee self-service. And last month we were on HR month. You're talking about, no, not last month, but yeah, we had a HR day, yeah, and we talked about how do we humanify the AI. And today in our discussion, we were told that how do we bring dignity to employees, right? Why would someone wait for you to give them pay slips in today's current world, for you to print and bring to them, unless they don't know how to use the system? Yeah, why would someone still come to you to ask you for their P9 form? Should you be someone that we can always be following around so that we can get our pay slips, can get our leave approved, we can get personal information? I need to update my information that every now and then you ask me, bring me your ID, bring me your ID. Yeah, how do I get? So you see, if someone keeps on coming to you, then we look at like small gods in HR, is because we don't have a system that will help employee self-service. Yeah, where I have to look for you to correct my attendance. I have to look for you to know, to understand, to get my payslip stamped. Yet all this could be done in a portal somewhere easier. So we need to get a system, and this system is not going to just to help us do business operations. Yeah, we need to get a system that will help us also improve employee engagement. And a disclaimer is that HR systems are not payroll systems. Payroll system is part of HR system. I know as HRs, we always make this one mistake in that we have a system in HR which have got some few modules like leave and all that, but our focus always on key areas that will get someone paid, such that we even forget about recruitment module. We forget about performance management module because we have too focused on payroll, because it has been made as if it is one of them. So as if it is the only system in HR. So if you have a system today, you need to use all modules and learn how do they interlink to ensure that we have a proper or a functional HR system. So how do we get it right with HR systems? What do we need to do? But then let us look at the pitfalls. So number one is that I've gotten to demos with a few of HRs here, and sometimes I like the way they talk about it. We love colors than the system capability. And mimi your color green, the green color or the blue color or I don't like that color. It's okay you don't like the color, but is the system capable of doing whatever you want to do? Yeah. Or how can we custom make it so that it can have our theme colors of the company? Yes, it can. But is that the key reason why you want a system? I understand the marketing team will be on your neck or the branding team will be on your neck. But already people who are using your system are your employees. So they already know that they're part of the employment. So they know your company, the company colors. But are colors actually, do we need to spend more time on colors? We can spend more time on user interface, usability of the system, but not on what colors they are made of. And currently systems are being agile where you can actually change the colors. Lack of participation in HR system acquisition. IT person goes, look for a system and brings to us in HR. How now? Finance team says that one is too expensive. We don't even get to be called to these discussions. So as a HR, we need to be called for this discussion. We need to get our space because the system is ours. We are the ones who will use this system. So do we have, and because our participation is lacking or limited, then we'll be missing out on one thing: service level agreements, where we know should a system go down now, how long should it take us to bring it back? A good example is you've seen that Grace could not start her video. So how long did it take Grace to get the video back? Right? So Jacinta helped her. So how long does Jacinta take to bring that video back? So talking about SLA, because you participate in it, so you know what you're looking for, and you know how you can get it. I don't know what I need. Actually, before I even move to the number 3, there's a friend of mine who is selling systems. So I told him, why can't we have a call with all HRs? And he said HR don't even participate those calls. So I'm looking for CEOs and CFOs to decide which system they're going to buy, because HRs don't participate. And that was a tough call, and I'm in HR, and we try to bring up this call. So we need to get our space in that room, and that's what we are, and that's why we are here. So I don't know what I need. Give me what you have. Yes, providers, system providers will come to you and tell you that this system is good. We have this module, you have this module, you have this module. But if you don't know what you want as HR, then you'll never get a good system. People buy systems because of the names, but they don't know what do we need. Do we even send requests for proposals to just check? Do we sit in those demos to see? People won't accept this system. So what? We need to conduct engagement activity with our stakeholders. Why can't you form a team that can help you choose a good system? Right? Because this is fear. You're already fearing people not accepting the system, but do you know what they really want? Yeah. I don't do analytics. HR is a support center. Yeah, because you don't do analytics, you don't see the need of data. A clean data that is there in real time can only be real time when you have a system, not on those papers in the file. Yeah. Imagine looking for papers in files every now and then. And some place I used to work in, where if I go and leave, I would get some 2, 3, 4 calls, because papers, the way I used to file like once in a week or once in a month. So if you go and leave without filing, then there will be a problem. But when you have a system, there's a place where we also use Dropbox. Back there, I don't know whether Dropbox is still there. The current we have now, the new ones have come up. The Drive for Google and OneDrive for Microsoft. So back then you used to have Dropbox. So Dropbox, you could check on a document anywhere. So see, those are the differences that you're looking at in terms of HR. So are you analytical enough that you can have clean data? Can only have that using a system. So these are common pitfalls. I don't know whether, have you seen some pitfalls in your companies that you can actually tell us? You can share with me. Richard, do you know of a few pitfalls that we go through? I think you can have them on the charts, right? Yes.
We can have them on the charts. We can write on the charts what are the mistakes that are made during the acquisition of the human resource information management systems.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So we're waiting for them to type on that. So now we'll still proceed so that we don't lose focus. How do I get it right with HRIS? That is our question. Why we are here, right? And so that this one should enable us get 3 things: improve the current system, or get a new system that is working for you, or if you're developing a system, then you need to look at these key things, right? So now, number 1 thing that you need to do is look at HR functions. What are you doing in that company that requires automation? Now, there's digitization and there is automation. Digitizing is just taking that form that you have on paper into an online form. Automation goes beyond that. It's now the way of doing things. That's automation. So I can fill my leave form in paper or on paper, then transfer it in Excel. That is digitization. Or scan that leave form and have it on shared drive. That is digitization. I've just digitized it. But now when I have to do my form on Google Forms and submit my response and have my data there and my report there, then That is now automation. So what do you do in HR that requires automation? What are our functions? I know we know our function is HR. If you work anyone any day, recruitment, training, all those. So do we know all those functions and processes that we need to follow to have a correct outcome? Then another way that we can do is to look at the company problems or HR problems, so that we say that we build a case. So we are building a case here using two models. Number one is look at HR function. What do we need? What are we doing? And how can we do it? Number two is looking at HR problems. So what is your real problem in HR? I can't get clean data. We paid ghost workers, right? People can't access the information. So those are problems. So now you build a case from the problem or from your functions. But now I want to choose HR function as one of the ways to getting it right with HRIS. Because if you look at our functions, you already know our problems, right? Because I do recruitment every day. So I know where my problems are in recruitment. So I don't need to go deeper. So in this case, if you use model 1 on HR functions, then we can actually kill the number 2 easily. But number 2 will not help you kill number 1, but you can choose. So for those of us who already have a system, then you can look at the problems that you currently still have with that system. Then go that way. You don't have a system fully, look at HR functions. But if you still have a system not working for you, let's see whether number 1 will still work for you. And because we have got CS Alande here, who is very big on employee relations, and he's talking about Archimedes principle, where you only displace the equal number of the weight of water that you displace will be the same as your weight, something like that. Archimedes principle when someone is swimming. So Alanda will help us with this process here. So now I've looked at the HR function, and here I've picked one, disciplinary management, as I find that we do in HR. So we want to get a system for it. So what should we do? Yeah, I've picked one function in HR called disciplinary management. So now, because we're in HR, this is our daily food. I want to believe my process here signifies what we do in HR. I want to believe that I didn't mess up anywhere in this process, because I am HR and I should not mess up with this process. So number one is a case has been reported. By who? Who should report a case? What is it on? Then number two is the investigation and show cause letter drafting, because I have to investigate. A case has come to you, or a case has come to you, then they need to do a show cause letter. So what do you want to do a show cause letter on? Did you get enough information on reporting a case? Notification to attend disciplinary hearing. So we assume that everything is working perfectly well for the whole process. So I need to tell employee to come in for disciplinary hearing. Then I need to have a disciplinary hearing meeting happening. Then we will decide on what is happening. And once we decide, we must communicate through letters or disciplinary actions. It has to be clear, right? Then they have to be signed or acknowledged. Then there must be a clearance process if termination, right? Then if you're terminating someone or dismissing someone, then you will have to do an exit interview. So this is what we do in HR. I want to believe so. Can I get confidence that my process is correct? Because I don't want to talk about what is not correct, but this is correct, right? Or near perfect a case handling process. Richard, confirm?
Yeah, it is. It is
Yes, it
almost
is, right? Yes.
by deviations. Yeah, it is.
Yes. Yeah, because of assumption that this person needs to be dismissed through this process. So I've read about some nitty-gritty that we now want to look at. Now, what we say that first, for you to get a proper HR system in your company, then you must actually first outline your policy correctly. If you have a wrong policy, a system won't come to align that policy. If you have a wrong policy, a system won't come to align the policy. So do we first have the right policy? Yes. Now, this is what now we need to mirror into our system. So number one, we are reporting a case. So what can we automate, or what should we look for in a system? I'm looking for a system that have intake forms. So in this form, I am looking at where the time, the date, right? And I want to give the space where this person will say what happened and more information.
Nelson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
there is Joy who said is not able to see your presentation, and I want her to go and click on what she's seeing on the screen and then enlarge it. It will be able to increase the font size. I think that is a problem from our end.
Yes. Okay.
You can proceed.
Yeah, Joy, please look into that. So now we're saying that now the one that we need to do is reporting, a case reporting. So what do we need to look for in a system? So if someone comes to sell to you a system today or disciplinary management, ask them, do you have disciplinary forms in your system? Can I see how do I report a case in a system? Is it confidential? Because again, some cases can also be a whistleblowing, right? So it has to be handled that way. And then, can I have a case ID? I know there are companies where cases where letters get lost. You can't even track which case was that. Reference numbers. Some companies doesn't have reference numbers for letters. So we are saying that can we have a case ID? Now we need to investigate and issue a show cause. So what should I look for in a system? I need to get a letter template. Template that will allow me to issue a show cause letter. Secure document storage and response tracking. So I want that when I send you a document, you are able to see that document on your end, and it will be able to tell me that it has taken 2 days before you responded, 3 days. Can now give you the notification that you've not given me feedback, or how many days has it taken. So templates in that form mean that we already have a template that just require you to add a few words in there. That what did we, okay, what happened? Just the people that you need to add as HR, but don't need to go again and start printing a new letter, right? So we want to look at notification to attend disciplinary hearing. Notification templates, do they have in that system, or can we have one there? Can I automate scheduling, that when I do a scheduling in my system, it goes to the emails and books a calendar invites? Yeah. Can it go now? Can I pick in? Because sometimes we go to cases and forget to invite shop stewards to the case because we're too busy doing so many things. So you forget to bring in shop stewards. So can we have a sync of employees who are part of this case in this line? Because remember, all this process will either lead you inside a legal inside the courtroom or outside the courtroom because of how the process was done. So if you're bringing a system, the system must also be clear enough on these lines. Disciplinary hearing. So sometimes people take notes and they take whatever they want to hear because that thing can be heated, right? Or you can misrepresent someone. And nowadays you have got digital note-taking tools. Audio recording. Does the system allow audio recording? Can I have attendance logging? Because nowadays we even do cases when someone is in Kisumu, I am in Nairobi, we do case, yeah, and we even file you over the videos, right? So you see those things happen, right? So can we have digital note taking, audio recording? And what has really helped, I know you know Kenya Law Organization or Law something, where they post all those cases there. What has really helped for cases to be uploaded very easily this time around is because nowadays, because the system that we are using are able to take notes, it's easier now for judges to, as they speak, we have note writing on the side, the AI that always come in. So helping them write those details very fast, the judgments very fast. So that's why you can see cases up easily on the website and all that, because it has been made easier. Why can't we do it also in HR? Yeah. Now, decision. Now, when I want to give a letter, so do you have voting letters in the system? Well, just issue, they see it, they sign it, and they bring it back to us. We archive that letter and have it in the system. No need for printing and all that. And when the letter expires after 1 year or 1.5 years, it deletes it and prompts you or prompts to delete it. But remember that we only need to keep whatever is relevant to us, depending on Data Protection Act. Only keep what is necessary, the same as what you ask from employees, right? So you need to have that auto-generated decision letters. Yeah. Can we have e-signatures because of easier or e-acknowledgement or the records that they have? Then digital signatures, time stamping, and version control. So you have done a letter for Nelson. It should only go for Nelson. That's the version, whatever the version controls. Time stamping. So meaning that my letter was at 3 or at 8:51 it was sent. 8:51 p.m. it was sent. So we want to know when was this letter sent, because these things are key. And even timeline that was also key. Remember, we have if you call an employee for disciplinary meeting, you call them in the morning at 8 a.m. and someone who's called at 5 p.m. in 2 days' time, who will have more days and who will have more time? Someone who is called at 8 a.m. will have more time. But do we have timelines in our letters that we issue? No. But for our system, it will also help you get the timeline. Now, clearance process, do we have the checklist in the system? What is the workflow? Do people still work with the forms in our companies to clear? All right, if they were to leave, yeah. And now you can see that now, as you look at this function, we are now even moving to a different function in HR, the separation line, where now it's because it's also a whole process to separate with someone, yeah. And how many times have we terminated someone, but payroll doesn't have it, IT team doesn't know that that someone was fired, still have their emails, yeah. How many times did you fire someone and the security personnel doesn't know that so and so was fired because the information did not reach in time? That's what we need to have in our system. Now, exit interview. Can we automate it? Can we have qualitative feedback also being stored in the system? Can we track that in terms of analytics and dashboards? So these, once you have now understood, because the first part what we looked at was actually, the first part here that we looked at was talking about our process in HR, right? This is what we do, because we can only automate what we know, what we do, what has been done repetitively. Then now we can ask the provider to now give us what we need. So what we have here on the my right hand side are what now we need. So when you go to a system provider, this is not now what you are looking for, because now we already know what we do in the company, and now we now know how can we automate it. What do we need in that aspect? Now, once you have this part, when now you go for a demo, let's now assume that you've requested for proposals and people have come to you. Now you've gotten Sage coming, Workday coming, Workpay coming, Seamless HR coming, Thrive HR coming, all those systems coming to you. Then you have your blueprints. You want to see, can I see intake forms? How do I do that? Then you say that, but I can see that you lack where location of the incident. That system is an X. Next person, so that you now the person that you narrow down on is the one that has got most of your requirements. Then now you can ask them, but I saw something on the system A, so how can you have that in your system B? Or I didn't like your colors, so how can you change colors to color green? Because now you've already gotten whatever you wanted. Now you can now add those aesthetics. Yeah. So the same thing here that you've done here can also be done also now on payroll. So where do payroll start? Someone has come in, creation in the system. So we created the system. So what information do we need? So can we capture bank details, ID number, bank branch, all that? Then person has been hired. Offer letters need to be uploaded. So do we have a place for that to upload to be happening? Number two, we have got attendance. So how do we mark attendance in our system to bring it in? So first what we need to do is to first have your process clearly defined in an ethical way that will enhance your efficiency in the company. Then number two, look at what can I now automate, or how can this system now, whatever I've been doing manually or what I want, how can it be in a system? So they'll come and tell you that, okay, you know, we need this, but you cannot have, we can't have attendance logging in our system. So what do we need to do, right? So it's about you to look at what do you actually need, then it will help you get a system. Now, for someone building a system, they still also need to understand what is the proper way of handling a case in the in HR that is legally okay. Then now can they develop a system that will answer this process? Because if you don't understand the process, then you won't be doing anything. Yeah. So it is good for us to understand what we do. And that's what I always challenge people, that because we are HR business partners, we already know what HR is and we are good at it. Please, kama hauko sure, if you're not sure about your expertise in HR as your domain, you need to do a lot of it. You need to interact with a lot of people. You need to learn more, so that, because people don't discuss about case study, about disciplinary management anymore. People discuss about how will all this process help us achieve more money, right? How will all this process help us reduce number of theft cases? So if you do a disciplinary process and you fire 2 people today, and again in 2 months someone still steals in the company, then the disciplinary process that you've been doing is just an optics thing, but it's not addressing the behavior that you have in the company. So once you've done the disciplinary cases that you are done and you are fully done with it, can you analyze and say, what was the issue of this? Okay, this guy stole, but because he stole, the reasons why he stole were the system gap. We did not have enough system encryptions to allow safekeeping of the money, or our reporting lines are not correct. Because how can he be the only person doing everything and reporting to the CEO? So again, that's why we need to look at disciplinary as we need to look at the roots of that. And you cannot get the roots if you don't have correct data keyed in, the reasons and all that, so that we know our craft. So first know your craft, then analytics and systems will help you build your craft into business knowledge that you are looking for as HRs. Because I know we are HRs, we do HR. For most of us are HRs, that is, when we do HR. So how do we improve our business partnering? And if you are and you are offering a system, HR system to HRs, please provide what can make sense to us in terms of a system that fully meets our needs. And Jellican, that's what I had in how do we bring up a good system, or how do we check on our current system. So this tool can also be used for auditing your current system. And if you want, you can also do more few case studies on maybe performance management and send to the team that is here. If you do a performance management system, so what would you look at first and how will it come about? So, but for now, this is what I wanted us to bring in, the key concept of how do we audit the current system, or how do we acquire a new system, or how do we even evaluate what we are yet to buy to build a case for it. So that was my PPT, and thank you. That is my face in photos.
Let us appreciate Nelson, ladies and gentlemen. Let us appreciate Nelson for that wonderful. Yes, we can see your permanent smile. Most people don't know that you can make them laugh. At least they have seen you. We don't know that you know how to make jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, let us appreciate Nelson, who has really given us it short and sweet. And one of the first questions that I've been able to see is the question by Christine Kimathi. She's asking, please recommend the 3 top HRIS providers that you've come across, the ones that you've interacted and you've seen them more effective, and many other reasons why somebody should choose them.
Hey, that one, I will be biased. Because a few of them have also oiled my mouth to speak good about them. But
Yes.
for now, because of this forum and where we are, I believe, Christine, if you want to get a good system, then we follow these steps. We first look at what do we really need? And then number two is how do I get it from a system provider? I can mention a few systems here, but I've only worked on them on payroll side. But now other aspects of HR, they're not doing well. I want to give an example of, but now I will take positive and negative side. If you look at the Sage HR system called Sage, it's a very good system, a top tier system. But then there is this aspect of it now, because it is built and not easily customizable. Will it now function well in a dynamic environment? No. So we need to choose system that actually fits into what we need. So I may not be able to say which system basically are good. Yeah, because even the good ones, we had a case recently in US of a very good system being said to uh, have been discriminating the blacks and the whites and weight and all that, so that if you have some features that are in there, it will not discriminate again. So we don't really have a good system, but you can get a system that can actually fit into your company. So look for a system that is customizable. They will not tell you that you cannot change that one. If they can't change that one, then let them be with their system. So have your system that can change in a few areas, yeah, that are key for you for your business. That's why we need to embrace some of this. So until you do a request for an RFP, request for proposals, and get to see what they are offering, you never know who has a good system. Yeah.
Very good. There is a question by Pauline Mwashigadi. Are HR managers ready and willing to learn these systems in depth and get rid of unnecessary paperwork, wastage of time and resources? In your experience, what do you think? What is this mindset of HR professionals in terms of embracing?
As I said initially, that I am happy that today I'm talking to 142 people. If I compare to my 4 likes in 2017 on LinkedIn, so it means that we are up to it now. Things have really shifted, and we also are shifting with that. So if you're looking to learn of these systems, then we get in touch and see how do we train to basically understand the practical nature of HR systems. Because again, all systems are actually are also the same, because they're being done on the same process that we're looking at. The only thing is that what does your company need? So we learn with an open mind, but custom make for our company, for businesses, for scalability, all that. So Richard, we have embraced it because today 141 people show that we are really looking forward into understanding the systems, and the market is opening up because people are now listening to these systems. They're not IT things today. Today they are our systems. Yeah, not IT things today. Everybody's having IT. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nelson. There's a question by Frank Wambari. One of my favorite topics in human resources, change management. And I can see Frank asked a very good question. How do we navigate the artificial intelligence negative disruptions real time? And he goes further to ask, how do we prepare the company board and senior management who resist digital technology disruptions?
Are those company existing? Will they exist in a few years to come? Because currently, I've not seen anyone rejecting this system. Because even if you reject them, people are even asking for them to be there in the companies. Remember when ChatGPT came, a few guys said, "No, those is what." Then everybody now has ChatGPT. Even your boss says, "Can you check ChatGPT there?" And they bring me to edit. Right? Like someone said that now I do. Boss tells me to do a letter. I'll go do a letter, and then he reads. Tell ChatGPT, "Can you check this letter to see any gaps?" The ChatGPT gets the outcome. He sends back, can you make corrections based on these recommendations? You also do ChatGPT, please correct this letter based on these recommendations. Then you have a final document. So it is here with us. What we need to do is to, if they haven't understood what is, I think here will only be only the lack of knowledge, understanding of what is happening. Now, we are the change managers. So it means that we are the ones to bring this information in the first place, because change only comes through information. So we need to have done our research very well and tell the team that you are having that, guys, it is here, and these companies have embraced it. This is whatever they have gotten out of it. These companies have not embraced it, and this is where they are. And guys, in Africa, we are lucky in one way, in that whatever we are doing now, some 3-4 years ago had already been done in the other European countries, and those who didn't embrace AI might have failed. So we even have case studies already of companies that didn't embrace AI and have already failed. So why can't we pick these stories and give our bosses of the same? And even here locally, we can do that by looking at our data that we have. So if you have every other company on doing this and this and this, why not us? And do we understand the data that we have? Now, when it comes to AI disruptions, the biggest part of this, the disruption is now, how do we reskill very fast? Because the other day I was trying to learn Python. Then before I even grasped what the Python things could be, before I could boast here, now it can be done through other systems, can actually tell you what to code. So you and me can now code even without Python. There are easy tools to code with. So now, how fast are we learning? Yeah, 2020 here I was learning Python, but before I completed my classes to start doing my project, 2022, there were now already no code system or app building blocks or softwares. So again, how fast are we learning? We need to learn very fast. That is where AI comes and disrupt us. And we can now use the same AI to learn more, because it is here with us. So technology is there. And the guy that was saying that doesn't want to take technology has got the latest phone with this with voice recognition. Yeah, in those phones. Why are they buying new phones with and why can't they have the Mulikamui that we used to have before? Why have they upgraded their phones but left the business? Is maybe because we haven't shown them value of these systems, value of the AI in the industry. Yeah. So I think that would answer that. I don't know whether it's clear.
Yeah, thank you very much. There is a question I have in mind. I recently met one Dr. Bright who said privacy has died. What can we do as we acquire these systems to make sure that somebody does not easily access data that is contained in the systems?
It's just our appetite. But then let me just add something that Paul has said. I was in some company, and okay, there are guys who doesn't want to automate, because some businesses here in Kenya are run based on as a, what do we say, as a CSR. Yeah, the owner doesn't see the need of running that business, but because he is employing people, he may not want to bring technology. So he's saying, let us just stay the way we are so that my people can still work. Because truly to say, technology, when it comes, it has to replace people. A few of them have to go. We don't have the new ways of working. And Microsoft, the technology has replaced its maker, right? So some companies, yes, they refuse to do technology because they want to retain some jobs for their people in those companies. Well, that's good. That's the philosophy again. Must you stay there? You as a person who likes technology, so you can get somewhere else and go where they can be embraced. Now, privacy is gone. Actually, that is true, because whatever thing that we do, It's about appetite. How many of us are willing to log into various sites and say agree to terms and conditions? Yeah. How many of us would pay and then agree that there's something that now we need to start talking about, and that need to look for more information, that I accept that this information will be shared with our partners, So who are the partners of these companies? So we need to ask more, because Data Privacy Act gives us liberty to ask more. So why? Who are your partners that you're talking about? Like now, Grace, we know that if Grace was to share our data, we now know who are our partners, right? Who she'll share our data with, because now she has given us our partners here, right? So it's companies there are companies that who doesn't tell us who partners are. So unashtukia from nowhere, you are getting some guy calling you that they're selling shoes because you paid via M-Pesa to some company they don't even know, right? So that's what we need to do. And then number two, we need to reduce our appetite into logging into various scenes that doesn't even help. How many passwords do you have? If you were to go now and check your password that you've logged in various locations, but did you even go there and get whatever you are looking for? Because people are now putting something like like someone giving you the head of the fish, telling you that you can always come back for more and more fish. So they don't give you full information, but they want you to give full information. So you also need to reduce our appetite of what we really need online. Because some of them we just log in, but we don't do that. Then exercise your right of asking more questions and probing. And write an email and say, going forward, don't include me in your mailing list. It is your right as a data subject to withdraw information that you had given earlier or correct it. So we need to do that. So systems must also be cyber safe. So look for systems that have got strong cyber security. But those are now technical terms that will come in later when now you have a system. That's where now you need to have your IT guy coming in. But our key thing is how do we get the correct system that will do HR job fast for us? Yeah.
Thank you, Nelson. There is another question by Dominic Madeka. With the rapid changing technology, can you speak about having a system that lasts longer? I have seen system changes within 3 years. How can we manage this as HR professionals?
Yeah, they'll change because we are also changing things, and because we bought a system that is not scalable, because that's something that you now will be looking at now once you've gotten it right. So are we looking at a system that is scalable? Did you look at what you actually need in HR before getting that system? So who brought us the system? So the guys who will now make us change a system after 3 years. Did we do our study to know what we really want? Did we check our 2-3 years plan from now? Did we check our workforce numbers? Where are we heading to? Right? So if you don't do that, then you're going to change a system even tomorrow. We've seen companies where they bring a new system, then even before this one adapts, another one is already there because it's not giving us what we want. And again, one way of getting ROI of our system is also give it time. Because there's also a change process of people who did to use a system before. So they also need to learn the system, understand it, and all that. So if you're looking for a system, also be free and have money to buy systems that have been in the market for long. That might be also sounding a bit of bias to guys who are just coming up new, but look at the scalability of even those new systems. How long can they stay? And then are they able to be scalable to the next level? So if yes they can, then you can go for the newer guys. Because again, the older guys who have been here for longer might not be open to change because of the platforms which their systems were built on. So the key thing is understanding first what you need. Then when you go to the market, now you look for it. But our problem is always one that we go to the market before knowing what we need. But then now we know what we need. We already have 3 years with that same system. So we have to change. So what are we doing before we get a system?
So in effect, you're saying, yes, systems have got to continuously improve because sometimes we have legal issues that will force systems to be changed. There are technological forces that will make systems change. Yeah, that's what you have just said. Then there is the anonymous question, are there policies that govern human resource information management systems?
Yeah, that one now you now create once you have a system, then now you have create a policy saying this and that on that policy, because you've bought a system. So this system now has to be guided by a policy. So who will access what? Like we're just saying, who can report a case? So if a case is reported, how do we manage that matrix? So then we need to build a policy on that line. So we'll have to build a policy. You have to make a policy for that purpose.
Very good. Now, there's another question I'm thinking about. How do you decide that a system should be cloud-based or premises-based?
Now, cloud-based systems are the one that's where we are currently. Because the one that were on premise, I want to believe on premise here means that it's they're in your servers or they're in your computer, the one that you used to install before, right?
Yeah.
If you still have to install it in your computer, then there'll be a problem to most of them. So the current systems that we are having currently are web-based, cloud-based, where things are now real-time, where you can work from anywhere. Before, you won't work with a system that is downloaded in the system. So just go for cloud-based systems. They're the best, and that's where people are today because of work from anywhere. Yeah, but it only poses one risk: the risk of data privacy. If you're not careful, things might go. That is the only thing that we are only having with it, the cloud-based. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Wekesa Akweba. HR data can also be protected using blockchain technology to help in data protection, where only those with the key can unlock. You can comment on that. What is blockchain technology in terms of data privacy?
Yeah, okay, so is in the industry. Yeah, so we're looking at blockchain technology is a system where we're saying that should you do anything, we now have like a ledger. So it's a thing that nobody like it has got no face. Yeah, and nobody can interfere with whatever you've done. So once you create a transaction, it will remain so forever and ever. But currently, you can do a transaction today. How many of us have seen their emails disappear from the server? Because someone can go back and delete it. So blockchain is good enough to enable us have those kind of privacy in terms of stronger security of a system. But again, building them will take us time to have them, because once we have them, then we can now have one dream of Jellican having a unique ID across all employers, so that we only have one ID. So once you got into the workforce and Jellican was given number 1000, then now we'll get all your references with that number from employer A to employer B to employer C to employer D, because we're using one transaction detail, one number, one ID for Jellican across all systems, which will be good, right? That nobody can now play with your how do we call it? I'm forgetting the word. With the good work that you've done, if you see that some employers who will want to say that, oh, he was here but he did this and that. So you say that once you do the transaction, that you say that this is what has happened, then that's all that we need to do. That's on blockchain. So I agree with Clinton that we still have to do more and more knowledge awareness. That's why we have these sessions where we train as HRs what is there in the industry and what can we do to improve our HR practice through the knowledge of HR systems. Because most of us, we have not gone through this system. And I've been telling you guys, call for these guys to come and give you demos for free. They give demos for free. Learn something from those demos. Yeah, don't be fearful calling them for demos. You never know, yeah, when that will be needed. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Nelson, for that wonderful presentation. And you have really sparked our interest in embracing technology as it helps human resource so that they can become human resource practitioners, so that they can become more effective, more strategic. As you prepare for your parting shot or the last word, Grace, do you have anything? Grace? Grace? Okay. All right. Nelson, what is your parting thoughts?
Okay, what I would say is that technology is here and you have to embrace it. The only thing that we need to understand it better by getting our craft right, because it is what we are known for as HRs that still will be led by technology. So do we first know our craft? Then if you know our craft properly, then now we can get a system that speaks to it. And if it speaks to it, then it will give us a leverage, because now we'll have more time to engage in business building decisions other than just the normal support functions. So thanks to everyone, and that was my time.
We thank...
Richard, hi.
Yes, hi.
No, I have nothing. Today you are in charge, mister.
All right. Thank you very much, Grace, for always finding time to give us presenters who open our minds, who demystify concepts, who make us develop keen interest in new things. I am sure some of the people who have attended this particular conversation are going to think on how they can improve their systems so that they can become more strategic. They avoid being clerical, which adds very less. There is somebody who's asking your number. Nelson, you can kindly type on the chats. Christine Kimathi is typing. He is requesting your number. Yes, thank you so much. And of course, getting it right will not be successful without people who carve their time to come and listen. Be blessed. My name is Richard. My co-host was Grace and also Catherine Shidandi. Also, we have Jacinta. Thank you very much, Nelson. Let us meet next week for another delightful conversation. Spread the word that comes so that we can get it right every other time. Good night. See you on Tuesday.